The opportunity to come and speak today. Thanks to Monica and thanks very much for the opportunity. So the People's Kitchen, we've been operating now in the city for about 9 years, and as a response to what we've seen a lot of people who were sleeping on our streets. 9 years ago we provided around about 10 to 15 meals a week. Today, sad reflection is that we provide over 1,000 meals a week in Belfast. So that highlights the issue around poverty, the issue around homelessness, which is certainly on the increase. People's Kitchen is made up of volunteers, so there's 50 volunteers right across the city, retired teachers, retired ministers, priests, all various people give their time every single week. We provide 3 services. One service is a breakfast in the morning, so people who are homeless on the streets or anybody can present in the mornings from 8:30 to 11 for a breakfast. We also provide a weekend drop-in. Last night we had 87 people in for a 3-course meal and providing support, and also then we provide support on the streets 7 nights a week. So our team leave the People's Kitchen 8 o'clock every night, and they spend around about 5 or 6 hours per night on the streets. And people think People's Kitchen food is what we do. We do a lot more than food, and one of the things that we work towards is about getting the person out of that situation. You know, food's one part of what we provide, and we use food to connect with people, to see what's going on in their lives. I've done this work a long time, and I have to say it's never been as bad. Homelessness, we're in a grip of addiction in the city. Addiction, mental health, homelessness has never been at a level that we've seen before. Just on the way actually here today, I was stopping off to get a coffee, and this lady had stopped me and says, "You Paul Cusker from People's Kitchen?" I said, "Yes." She says, "I want to thank you for helping my son." It turned out that her son lost his life on the streets 3 weeks ago. So the sad reality is that we lose people as well in terms of homelessness and people who sleep on our streets. And that lady was so thankful today. You know, she was happy to see me. You know, she lost her son a few weeks ago, and she said to me, "Paul, I'd love to come maybe and give something back, you know, in memory of my son." So our job really every single day is about giving hope. It's about dignity, and it's also about respect. Because many people who we work with quite often are looked down on. And they describe, you know, they all say, "Paul, I don't feel part of society. You know, I'm homeless, I'm addicted to drugs, mental health problems, you know, I don't feel part of anything." And what the People's Kitchen does is about making them feel part of society, making them feel part of you know, normal life, as you can call it. And our volunteers work hard every single day to provide that hope. That today's not a good day, but hopefully tomorrow will be a better day for you as well. I'm also city councillor, so we do a lot of lobbying to government. So we're often in Stormont talking to ministers. This week we've got a big meeting coming with the Housing Executive and various other agencies to say we must do better. Nobody should be sleeping on our streets, and no one should be dying on our streets in 2025. The sad reality is, it is happening. We also get people who present at crisis, like families with children. Like last night, the number of families present in crisis had no electric and no gas, you know, had no food. So we provide that really response to people in crisis. And working with Monica and Belfast Domestic Mission for the Poor has been fantastic, because it has allowed us to actually reach more families and more people who are affected by poverty. And the good thing with the vouchers is that they can actually go and buy their own food rather than coming to a food bank, and quite often maybe we haven't got the stuff they need. So it's more about sort of, you know, trying to encourage them, trying to, you know, maybe a bit more independence, a bit more support too. So the vouchers have been a really massive big part of our team being able to reach more families and more children out in the community who would be affected by poverty. I'll give you a sense too in terms of numbers. I mean, there's over 50,000 people registered homeless across Northern Ireland. Would you believe there's over 10,000 children registered homeless? And these are children in unsuitable accommodation, in hostels, families not knowing where they're going to maybe sleep tomorrow. And this Christmas there'll be many more children registered homeless. How do you fix it? It's a political decision, isn't it? You know, everything in terms of what we see is always a political choice. And unfortunately, homelessness is always at the bottom of the agenda. So our team at People's Kitchen, we work with other agencies. We work with Belfast Trust around access to nurses, doctors, get people, you know, who are on the street, and in hostels access to support too, which is the bigger part of what we want to achieve. Is about the meal is one part, but the bigger part is how we get the person out of that situation. Our team also carry medical equipment at night. People we come across quite often would have overdosed or be in crisis. And our team also were trained in terms of administering a drug called naloxone, which reverses overdoses. So our team are well skilled and trained in terms of dealing with different situations in the city. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, the situation just continues to get a lot worse. And you walk through the city centre, you will see people in sleep bags, you'll see people in distressed situations. And for me, doing this work a long time, the profiles change. We're seeing a lot more younger people. The youngest person on the streets last night was 18. Young female, fleeing domestic violence. Relationship broke down at home with parents. She's now sleeping rough. And our team is out there trying to protect her and trying to get her access to accommodation. And the oldest person last night was a man who's 74, who relationship breakdown with his wife, had to leave the family home, and he's currently sleeping rough. Not too far actually from here, and we're doing a work at the minute to try and get him into some sort of accommodation. So homelessness can affect anybody at any stage in your life, regardless of what age. And I suppose our team is about giving that hope and dignity to say, we're going to try and support you, try and get you in somewhere, to get you off the streets. And I'm not sure you've seen a lot in the media recently about how unsafe the streets of Belfast have become. It's very challenging for anybody to have to sleep on the streets rough at night, because they're open to all types of attack. These young people have been exploited, and it's quite horrific what we're experiencing out there at the minute. So our job in terms of People's Kitchen is about giving a voice to people who quite often don't feel part of anything. And I always say, it could be someone's daughter, it's someone's father, it's someone's sister, someone's brother. They deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And our team work really hard every single day to provide that support. We get no government funding, so every single penny coming through the project is all fundraised or donated. And to run the People's Kitchen for 1 year, it roughly costs around about £250,000 a year to run our service. And not one penny from government. So you can see in terms of generosity of people in Belfast is unbelievable. We wouldn't have got this far if the generosity of people weren't behind us. And I suppose in terms of the sense of, go back to 9 years ago, to 15 dinners, to now 1,000 dinners a week, that just highlights where we're going in terms of the issue in Belfast of poverty, homelessness, and the biggest issue around addiction that we deal with every single day is trying to get people into rehabilitation, trying to get people into support. So thank you for listening. Thanks to Monica and the Belfast Domestic Mission for the Poor for their support. And we couldn't do it without other charities coming on board. Every single penny coming through the project goes into provision around resources, sleep bags, food, transport, all the different things that we provide. And we also provide emergency accommodation as well. So when the housing sector say no, there's no availability, our team will also then put people up in like hotel B&Bs for a few nights to try and get people, moved on to more longer term accommodation, and they didn't have to spend any time on the streets. And we're also lobbying at the minute around a charter to end rough sleeping in Belfast, so we're lobbying Stormont around that too, because our vision and our goal would be that not one person has to spend one night on the streets. Get back to COVID, the lockdown, there wasn't one person on the streets of Belfast. Why can't we do it now? And that's the biggest thing we talk a lot about to the ministers or stuff in Stormont. It can be done if they want it to be done. And the difference it makes in someone's life when you prevent them from actually having to sleep rough is massive. But no, thank you for listening. I suppose the key thing for us is hope, dignity and respect. And the key thing also is about those people who don't feel part of society. We're there as their voice to say, you are part of society, you're a person you should be treated with respect, and regardless if you're homeless, you've got an addiction, you've got a mental health problem, you should be treated with respect and given the support that you desperately need as well. So thanks to Monica, and thanks for listening too. Thank you.